Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and these are my group members. Today we will be presenting Learning to Learn module. This is our presentation outline. We will start with introduction and then we move on to three activities and lastly conclusion. So what is language learning strategy? Let's find out. So as you can see, LLS is defined as specific actions consciously taken by the learner to learn a language. In this case is the English language in our ESL classroom. So Oxford 1990 has categorized these strategies into two, direct strategies and indirect strategies. Direct strategies are strategies that influence learners directly in learning, such as memory, cognitive, and compensatory strategies, while indirect strategies are approaches which indirectly have an effect on learning, such as metacognitive, affective, and social strategies. Allow me to give a little bit of explanation for the classifications of language learning strategies. The white bubbles, they refer to direct strategies. Memory strategies are used to recall and transfer knowledge into the appropriate skill. Cognitive strategies that assist students in thinking about the learning process, such as practicing, sending and receiving messages, as well as making assumptions. And lastly, compensation strategies help students to use the new language to replace words due to their poor vocabulary. This is especially helpful for students having vocabulary problems in ESL classroom. Now let's take a look at the green bubbles that refer to indirect language learning strategies. Metacognitive strategies deal with how the students control their learning by seeking information, setting goals for their target language, and planning their learning. Affective strategies deal with the students' feelings and emotions, involving motivation and attitudes towards learning English. And lastly, social strategies allow students to collaborate to create an understanding of other people, which encourages communication with other people in language acquisition. All right, so as teachers, do you know why it's so important to learn LLS, even for the teachers and students? Right, let's take a look at these benefits. The first benefit is it can increase self autonomy for the student, but with the encouragement from the teacher and self confidence in learning the language. The second benefit is it can increase the student's learning efficiency and improve learning effectiveness. And the last benefit here is it increased learning achievement. So for our module, we decided to use the cognitive academic language learning approach, KELA, which was introduced by Chemot and O'Malley. It integrates academic language development and explicit as well as content instruction in learning strategies. Okay, so KELA integrates strategy into content and academic activities, and it reflects language teaching and learning in these six stages: preparation, presentation, practice, evaluation, expansion, and assessment. So in our module, the activities will be based on this model as teachers identify students' current learning strategies in preparation stage, and then the teachers will model the new strategy in presentation. And in the next step for practice, the students will practice the new strategy. And after the students have practiced, they will evaluate their learning to check the effectiveness. And later, they will be given a chance to transfer the strategy to a new task. The latest stage is assessment. In this stage, The teachers will assess the students' use of learning strategies and how these strategies will impact their learning performance. As we all know, our Malaysian government has introduced the Curriculum European Framework of Reference CFR to reform English language education. So, in our module, our activities will incorporate the language learning strategies specifically for year 6 pupils on adventure time. Hopefully, these activities will help the less proficient pupils to utilize learning strategies to add their understanding and improve their English proficiency.
The first strategy that I will introduce in this learning to module is speaking activity called Miss or Mr. Conductor. The first strategy will employ two strategies, which are affective strategy and social strategy. Through effective strategy, the learners are able to be confident and motivated to speak with their friends. Besides that, it also integrates social strategy because they are able to do role play by asking questions and cooperate with their friends when they do turn taking. These two strategies are very helpful for intermediate to weak pupils. Next, we will go to the steps on how to conduct this activity. The first step is the teacher will play the role as tour guide telling the pupils they are going for an adventure today. For example, hello kids, I am your conductor for today, and today we are going to a camp. Next, for the second step, the teacher will tell that they are going to the camp using a plane. So this is going to be an example of transportation the pupils can use. After that, tickets are given to each pupil, and the teacher will start by asking the first question. Have you ever been on a, for example, the teacher can use ferry, plane, or a cruise. And then, in the tickets, there are also information such as journey time, which is when, how long does it take, and departs, which is the time of departure, single or return. Okay, so this is an example of a boarding ticket for a plane. So, from the fourth step just now, the teacher can ask questions to the pupils based on the information in the boarding pass. For example, okay, class, so when is the date of the departure? And the pupils will respond, 1st of June 2023. And then the teacher can ask another question, from where does the plane depart? And the people will respond, from Miri, teacher. And then another question can be asked, to where? And then the teacher will ask, to where will the plane go? And then the pupils respond, to Bintulu, teacher. And other informations also can be asked from this boarding pass. Okay, for the fifth step, here is where the teacher demonstrates on how to act the information in the ticket. So, since the pupils are doing role playing, means that one person will become the person asking questions and the other person will answer the questions, which is the Miss or Mr. Conductor. Example of question can be asked, could you tell me how to get to Miri? And the conductor will answer, the best way is by using a plane. Second question, how long does it take? And then the other person will answer, it takes around 1 hour. And same goes for the other questions. And these are the samples from the textbooks itself. Next, the pupils will work in pairs. And after they finish with their pair, they can rotate with their friends. And then the teacher asks the pupils their opinions about the ticket by giving them the exit ticket. So in this exit ticket, the pupils are able to reflect on their learning experience. Next, they can also try to do role playing for another ticket. And the teacher are able to assess the lesson by giving another form to see how much the pupils have learned, which is the impact of the learning. And then we move on towards the evaluation process. So this will be done at the end of the activity whereby the teacher will give an exit ticket to each pupil. So the teacher will give instructions. Okay, class. So now I will give an exit ticket to everyone, and you can see in the ticket there are faces on it. So how do you feel about today's lesson? Please color the face. And I also want you to write about what you have learned on today's lesson. So this is an example on how the teacher can give instruction to the pupils about the exit ticket. So this is an example of an expansion activity whereby the pupils can opt for another ticket such as cruise or ferry. They are able to transfer the strategies they have learned to this new task or ticket. And here is another example of ticket that the pupils can try with their friends by using the strategies that they have learned previously. And the last step in this strategy is self-assessment. So here the pupils will assess their own learning by answering two forms. So the first form is about asking questions and the second is about answering questions. So the teacher can give instructions to the pupils by telling them, okay class, so now we are almost at the end of the lesson, and I will give you a form for you to assess your own learning for today. So there are two different forms here. So the first one is about asking questions, and then second is about answering questions. So here you can tick on a happy face if you understand what you have learned for today, and tick on a sad face if you are having problem or you did not really understand about today's lesson. Please give it to me at the end of the class. Okay, so the variation that is applied in this strategy is the tickets are of varying transportation modes such as plane, bus, taxi, train, and so on. And besides that, this activity can be adapted into other levels such as in Year 5 topic Unit 8 going away, Year 4 Unit 6 getting around, and Year 3 Unit 9 on holiday. This is because these topics also talk about going places.
The second learning activity is for reading activity, which is called roll and guess. For this activity, there are three strategies related. The first one is memory strategy, whereby pupils will be able to create mental linkages and applying images. The second strategy is social, in which pupils will be encouraged to cooperate with others and they will be engaged in this fun activity by asking questions. And the third strategy is compensation, in which the pairs are required to guess intelligently based on prompts given. We move on to the steps. First, pupils will be asked to choose their pairs. Second, roll and guess game will be introduced by the teacher. Third, the game will be demonstrated by the teacher. Fourth, in every pair, pupil A and B will take turns to roll the dice and read sentences on the board game. Fifth, both pupils will be encouraged to discuss before saying and spelling out the answer. Sixth, for each turn, every pair will be allocated a maximum of 1 minute to answer. Seventh, for each correct attempt, 1 mark is given. Eighth, the pupils who manage to gain the highest marks will be crowned as the winner. And the last step is pupils will be given an evaluation form each. They will be required to draw an emoji to represent their feeling. So this is the template for roll and guess game. Teacher needs to prepare this board game together with a few board game pieces and a dice. As mentioned before, pupils will be working in a pair. They will take turn to answer. For example, the first pair were rolling the dice and got a number. We take the first yellow square as their first question. The sport based on the picture is hiking. Therefore, either one of the pair needs to say out the answer first, which is hiking. Then, the pupil is required to spell HIKING. Only then the pair will gain one full mark. So, this is the template for mystery cards. Teacher may include as many or various mystery cards related to the theme. Since this board game is designed to cater Year 6 pupils for Module 3, Adventure Time, hence, these mystery cards are about adventure sports. This is the backside of mystery cards. For the adaptability, this activity can be carried out for other themes or topics based on the textbook. At the end of the activity, an evaluation form can be distributed to each pupil. For primary schools, using emoji is more convenient, which could cater all pupils of different proficiency levels.
For the third activity and the last one, it is a grammar-focused activity named HYE, H-Y-E, which stands for Have You Ever? The strategies used in this activity are: the first one, memory strategy, which the pupils will place words into a context. The second one, cognitive strategy, which includes repetition. And the last one is social strategy, where the pupils will be interacting with their classmates. So, here are the steps to conduct the activity. The first one, teacher reviews the present perfect verb form with pupils, and then pupils are introduced to the target language. Teacher will brief pupils on how to play Have You Ever and divides them into groups of 5. Teacher will then show the front part of the tickets and distributes the yes and no boards. The teacher will demonstrate how to play Have You Ever. So here, one pupil will stand in front and the rest of the group members will stand in line, facing pupil A who is standing alone. Each member in the groups will take turns to randomly pick one ticket and construct a sentence using Have You Ever and the target language. After pupil A asks a question according to the prompt written on the ticket, the first person in line, pupil B, will respond to the question by raising either the yes or no board and construct a sentence as an answer. Then, pupil B will come to the front and ask the next question for pupil C to answer. This will be continued until everyone get their turns. Pupils are encouraged to help struggling group members to construct sentences. The group that has the most yes at the end wins. After the activity, the teacher will give pupils an evaluation sheet to fill. At the end of the activity, the teacher will give an exercise sheet to pupils as an assessment. So this is the Have You Ever tickets. The teacher will only show the front part of the ticket to the pupils during demonstration. Pupils will pick it randomly during the activity. After they flip it to the back side of the ticket, they will construct a question based on the prompt written on it. Pupils must ensure that their group members are using the correct grammar during the activity. This is the yes and no board. Pupils who are answering the questions must raise this board first before constructing a sentence as an answer. This is the exit tickets for pupils to fill after the activity. The pupils are required to write 3 things they learned during the lesson, 2 things that they enjoyed during the activity, and for the last one, they need to choose one phrase to describe their feeling after the lesson. And for assessment, the pupils will be given a simple exercise sheet. Pupils are required to write questions using the prompts. An example has been given for pupils to refer to.
So, to conclude, LLS are helpful and vital in the ESL classroom. It helps the learners to be active learners in the classroom, but the teachers need to provide explicit instruction so that these students know how to utilize the LLS. This will allow the students to increase their self autonomy for them to own their own learning and be independent learners in the classroom. That's all from us. Thank you.